As dawn breaks over the vast Pacific Ocean, a team of marine biologists spots a heartbreaking sight, a lost baby blue whale, crying out desperately, its calls echoing across the water. Hours go by without any sign of its mother, and hope begins to fade. Then, without warning, a pod of killer whales emerges from the deep, circling the defenseless calf, their intentions unmistakable. But just as all seems lost, the ocean erupts with a force that no one could have predicted. What surfaced that day defied everything scientists thought they knew about marine life. The Pacific Ocean is a world of secrets and mysteries, with life and death playing out beneath its endless waves. On what began as a routine morning, a group of marine biologists found themselves witnesses to an event that would challenge everything they understood about the complex social bonds among marine creatures. Their research vessel glided through the calm waters, the sunrise painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. They were conducting a study on gray whale migration patterns when something in the distance caught their attention. Through their binoculars, they saw an unusual sight, a small figure moving erratically through the waves. As they approached with caution, the heartbreaking reality became clear. It was a baby blue whale, utterly alone and vulnerable. Blue whales are the largest creatures on Earth, but this calf was just an infant, defenseless without its mother's protection. The baby whale's behavior was distressing. It swam in frantic circles, its haunting cries echoing across the ocean, a desperate plea for its mother. These were not the usual melodic songs of blue whales, but sorrowful calls of fear and longing. Dr. Sarah Martinez, the lead researcher, immediately initiated emergency protocols. This was unlike anything they had encountered before. Helping a stranded marine mammal was challenging enough, but a baby blue whale presented an entirely new level of complexity. The team's first priority was to establish a safe zone, keeping curious boats at a distance to avoid further stress for the calf. They deployed underwater hydrophones, hoping to pick up any signs of adult blue whales nearby. But the speakers played back only the haunting cries of the baby, unanswered and alone. Hours passed and the silence was deafening. Despite their advanced equipment and years of experience, they were powerless to provide the one thing the calf needed most: its mother. Dr. Martinez contacted nearby research stations and marine control units, issuing alerts far and wide. If the mother was anywhere within a 100-mile radius, they needed to find her fast. She also reached out to marine mammal rescue specialists, knowing that the odds were grim. A baby blue whale relies entirely on its mother's milk, rich in fat and nutrients. Without it, its chances of survival would drop rapidly. The team debated their options. Could they guide the calf to safer, shallower waters? Would recordings of blue whale calls help it find its way? Each idea carried its own risks. Loud noises might disorient the calf, and recordings could attract predators. The wrong move could prove fatal. A young researcher suggested trying to feed the calf, but Dr. Martinez quickly dismissed the notion. No human-made formula could replicate blue whale milk, and getting close enough to attempt feeding would only terrify the exhausted infant. The best they could do was to keep watch, ensuring no boats ventured too close while continuing to search for any sign of adult whales. As the hours dragged on, the baby whale grew weaker. It would dive only to resurface in a panic, spinning in circles and calling out in heart-wrenching desperation. Its movements were becoming sluggish, a clear sign of exhaustion and hunger. The once strong vocalizations were fading, growing softer with each cry. By late morning, the situation took a dire turn. The calf had drifted into deeper waters, seemingly following a distant echo that might have sounded like its mother's call. But the researchers' instruments confirmed the harsh truth. There were no other blue whales nearby. They followed the baby at a safe distance, helplessly watching its aimless journey through the vast ocean. Just when the situation seemed at its worst, the water's surface rippled ominously. Dark fins sliced through the waves, and it was a killer whales. A pod of orcas had arrived, drawn by the cries of the vulnerable calf. Known for their strategic hunting techniques, these apex predators began to circle their target, closing in with chilling precision. The baby whale's panic was palpable as it darted in confusion, but the orcas had every escape route blocked. They executed their attack with brutal efficiency. The largest orca lunged at the calf's tail, striking with a force meant to immobilize. The ocean churned as the helpless baby struggled to break free, but the orcas were relentless. Their coordinated strikes showed an intelligence honed by generations of hunting in these waters. From the safety of their vessel, the researchers could only watch, documenting the merciless hunt. It seemed there was no hope left for the baby whale. But then, the ocean exploded with movement. Massive dark forms surged upward from the depths, displacing water with colossal force. The sheer size of these newcomers dwarfed even the orcas. Humpback whales, giants of the sea known for their grace and haunting songs, had arrived. But they weren't merely passing by. They formed a protective barrier around the baby blue whale, placing themselves between the orcas and their prey. Their presence was no coincidence. They were actively defending a calf that wasn't even of their species. The orcas hesitated, circling warily. They launched a series of calculated attacks, but the humpbacks stood firm, using their massive tails and fins to shield the baby. The confrontation lasted for hours, but the humpbacks never faltered. Eventually, the frustrated orcas abandoned the hunt, disappearing into the deep. The research team was stunned. This was an unprecedented act of interspecies altruism. Humpback whales had been observed intervening in orca hunts before, but this was different. They had defended a blue whale calf, displaying compassion and courage that defied scientific explanation. This extraordinary encounter shook the scientific community. It prompted researchers worldwide to re-examine the social dynamics of marine mammals. Were these acts of protection purely instinctual, or did they indicate a deeper emotional complexity? The answers were elusive, but one thing was clear. These ocean giants were more than just passive grazers of the sea. They were guardians, capable of empathy and bravery that rival our own. In a world where survival often depends on the strongest and the fiercest, this remarkable act of protection challenged everything we thought we knew about the natural order. It reminded us that compassion knows no boundaries, not even between species. What would you do if you witnessed such an incredible display of courage and empathy? Would it change the way you see these magnificent creatures of the deep? The ocean holds many secrets, but sometimes it also reveals moments of profound beauty that inspire us all. Subscribe for more such stories.